weekend. Um, Also, I just want to throw this out there. We will be joined shortly by our good friend, Mr. Allan Bell from the Early Edge. He'll drop in. Give me one second. My bad. I thought somebody knocked at the door. Um, but yeah, he'll be joining us to help break down the Super Bowl, get going there. But we got another big game this weekend.
We do.
We do a huge one. Pause. But LSU versus South Carolina.
Yes,
Number
sir.
three versus number one. We got cheated out of what should have been a number one versus number two. I mean, yeah, number one versus number two matchup. But what I'm saying, they're gonna yell strength of schedule. I understand. Understand.
Understandably so.
Yeah, but they was already ahead. But anyway, I digress. I'm biased. Well, looking at this game, man, what do you think? First initial thoughts.
Um, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be the Lady Tigers litmus test to see who they really made of, what they're really made of, and who they really are. Um, I've been back and forth on this one, but after what I've seen like the last week, I'm going with South Carolina, dog.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are. So let me ask this. What are your thoughts, keys to the game? Let me say this. I know you say um trying to think how to do it. You say South Carolina because of how things going. I think that what the Lady Tigers have been through these last couple games might give them a leg up. Might have been a wake up call. They had a week off, watch film and stuff. One thing we do know, Kim Mulkey gonna have a game plan. Don't think about it. She going against somebody who been through it. So
Yeah, for sure.
uh I think it's gonna be I got LSU in a close one. But keys to the game for you.
I done said it once. I said it twice. I said it 3 times. Alexis Morris. Um, South Carolina got some great defenders out there, man. I think her name Raven. Can't remember that, but they got a defender out there who's giving up like 4 points a game against her this season, and she's locking up the best player on the other team usually night in and night out. So Alexis Moore is gonna have to play a big. She's gonna have to have a big game because obviously Angel Reese is LSU's best player, but she kind of gonna get canceled out in a sense by Leah Boston on the other side. So you're gonna have to have Flage, Jasmine Carson, Alexis Morris. Those people are gonna have to. Those players are gonna have to step up big for LSU to get a win. And I don't know if they've been in a situation like they're gonna be in Sunday,
Right.
especially being on the road in that environment. I know they've been in some tough games, but that's gonna be a different environment, in my opinion. So it's. I'm not saying they can't win. I don't think they will, just because I don't think that they are. I don't think they've been in that moment, and I don't know if they're ready for that moment.
I agree with you on Alexis Morris. And you've been calling it. You've been calling it all season. So to kind of go off of that, I think the key to the game is ball security and
Hmm.
supporting cast. By that, it can't just be Alexis Morris and Angel Reese. Flage, we know she's gonna get her, she's gonna step up, but we also need I can't think of the young lady's name. The one from Australia. Powell.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And then Williams and
Hmm.
Poole. Poole is somebody the last few
Yeah.
games has I've gotten frustrated with, but but I do think if she steps up and plays a really good game, they got a chance. They kept it. I mean, granted, it was in Baton Rouge. It was at the PMAC last year. They kept it close.
Yeah, it's a
Hope.
difference. It's a different
I
South
know,
Carolina
I
team.
know, I know. So
I mean, it's a different LSU team too, but
Yeah.
I just like South Carolina is more battle tested and more proven to me at this point. You know what I mean? Like they just went two stores and knocked off UConn, and I know it's easy for it's hurt, but
Hmm.
like that's still a big win. Like that UConn team is still gonna be a top two seed, probably still gonna be a Final Four favorite, and they went to UConn and beat them. So I mean, it's I haven't seen anything of that caliber from this women's LSU team this year. Not saying they can't do it, I just haven't seen.
Gotcha. Quick question. LSU wins if, and I guess we kind of touched on this
Just
already.
kind of it. The role players got to step up. Somebody beside Angel Reese got to give you 20 points. Lex is gonna have to give you 15 to 20. Flage gonna have to give you 15 to 20, and somebody else gonna have to pitch in with 12 to 16 points. I mean, it's gonna have to be a group effort. Angel Reese is not gonna beat South Carolina by herself.
Definitely. I agree. Completely agree with that one. What does a LSU loss mean?
Nothing. Not to me. I mean, like if your season goes the way you think it'll go, you'll see South Carolina two more times after this.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so this is just a where do you stand and what do you need to work on, and what's stopping you from being where they at, pretty much.
I think like a close loss means you're there. Because that's a mistake here or there in the game.
Yeah.
A blowout, you know,
The only way. My bad. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say a blowout, temper expectations, uh, get back in, you know what I'm saying, regroup and
Yeah.
see, you know what I'm saying, fight the, you know what I'm saying, live to fight another day.
The only thing about a blowout is because they haven't lost all year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if their first loss is a blowout, how do they respond to that?
good question. Good question. Any loss, how do they
I
respond?
mean, yeah,
But
true,
yeah,
any lot, but like if you go from being 23-0 and we number three team in the country, we hadn't been beat, and then you go lose by 20 or something. You know what I mean? Like I think that'll be a bigger blow to their psyche than if they go out and lose by four, or you know what I'm saying, or lose by two on the last second shot or something.
yeah. All right. Well, before we bring up our guests, like we say every week or every show, rather, we truly appreciate your support. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share. You got any comments, questions? Feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm sure y'all about to have a bunch of them when we start talking about bets and Super Bowl and everything else. And this the man you definitely want to ask for that. But shout out to Xavier, this old vet, Miss Hughes in here. We got our good man Julian. Uh
Oh my God,
yeah, Mr. Paul's Martin himself. He said men's team already down 7-0.
imagine that.
You just had to bring it up. Just had to bring it up. Hey, are we going to start treating the men's team like we treat the Saints? All right, that answers it all. What's good, Josh? Glad you're in here as always. But Xavier actually said this before we move on. He says, I don't think Kim shows her hand in this one. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think
Yep.
that goes both ways. I don't
Yeah.
think Don really does neither. I mean, you got two coaches who obviously top three, four in their respective sport. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So do want to throw this out there. Help us hit 1K and you can win $100. If you are subscribed, refer somebody else to subscribe. You and that person can also win $100. If you're not subscribed or your grandmama's not subscribed, tell Granny to come on over. We accept her too. So, all right. But wait, hold on. Something is missing. Oh, there it is. Want to bring back to the Golden Boot our good friend from the early edge, Mr. Everything, producer, uh, host, capper. I mean, you name it, he does it. Mr. Allan Bell, welcome back to the Golden Boot. Thank you for coming back, AB.
Hey man, let me say, first off, I appreciate you guys having me back. Second, hey, men's team, look, they made a little run. It's 10-6 right now. I got the over LSU Mississippi State at 125.5. So there we go.
Of
Look,
course you do.
they coming
Of
back.
course
Yeah.
you
I mean, I do as well because I follow the early edge. But
do.
First off,
I
AB.
laid off tonight. I laid
Oh,
off
you took
I
off
tonight.
feel you.
tonight.
Hey, sometimes you got to do that, man. Like it just start running on you. Like, damn, dude, I can't be stressed every night. Like, I need to
Exactly,
just
bro.
chill.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
exactly where I'm at with it.
How y'all been, man? Everything good?
Good, bro.
Real
How you
good.
doing, dog?
Man,
Last
chill.
time you were here, you came in really humble, and your boys came out and put a butt whipping on us like really quick. So
Hey,
Yeah.
man, let me say this. I hated that, like, that we couldn't talk right after that game
Mhm.
because, look, like, that whole thing and what we're talking about, the Tennessee LSU game, the whole thing was on that kickoff. If that kickoff don't happen, completely different game. Completely
Yep.
different game,
completely
right?
agree.
So
Yep.
it's just
Agreed.
weird, man, how, like, SEC ball, anything really, like, one play really can make the difference. And, like, that's kind of a good point of, like, the Super Bowl coming up because I feel like we've got two teams that are pretty much mirrored, man.
Mhm.
Like you got two cold quarterbacks, you've got two good football teams. You know what I mean? And it's like one play can just change everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm salty, still salty from 2 weeks ago. I'm
Yeah,
pulling for Philly.
Mm.
Philly's
I-
good, man.
I'm pulling for Philly. Nothing,
Yeah.
say I do like the Chiefs at times.
Yeah.
I feel
Here's a,
like
dude, here's a crazy thing, right?
I
Talking
feel
about
like Cincy
Philly.
got robbed. So
Well, first off, who are you pulling for, or who do you
Well,
think's gonna win? Whatever.
who do I think is gonna win? I
Yeah.
have no idea, but I want the Chiefs to win.
All right. Yeah. Like I mean, these two teams, like you take every game of the regular season this year, take all their playoff games. They've both scored exactly 546 points this year. Like
Wow.
exactly. Like these two teams are so mirrored, dude. Like,
Wow.
yeah. And the weird thing is, like, we talk about the Chiefs' health, which I mean is a thing, but like, you've got time, you got 2 weeks, like they're gonna be all right. Dude, the Eagles haven't had to play a second half in a month. Like,
That's true too.
yeah, like I mean, they've been up so big that like they're really just playing the clock. So it's like, is that good? Like, are you extra rested, or because the Chiefs, like they'll get down in the second half, and it's like, oh, like they're just putting up points, and you're like, oh hell, like are the Eagles built to come back? So we'll see.
Yeah, and to your point, Philly hasn't been in a pressure packed situation in a long time. Because even the games that they lost, Hurts wasn't playing; he was out, and Minshew was the quarterback. So Hurts hasn't been in that situation where it's really make or break. What are you going to do in this crunch time situation? So it's going to be interesting to see if they are in that situation. What do we get from him?
Yep, you're right. And look, I feel like the Chiefs play that every week. Like, if there's
Exactly,
any team who's like no pressure, ice cold, like, dude, oh, we got 38 seconds, we good. Like,
Yeah.
them and Aaron Rodgers, like those, like basically,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So that's a
Yeah,
great
that's a
point
good
by
point.
you. I agree.
Yeah.
so the funny thing, I actually found out about Jalen Hurts being when he got hurt, injured his shoulder from the early edge. You guys kind of reported it. And so I posted on our the Golden Boots Twitter page. It was like, hey, Jalen Hurts is out possibly 3 to 4 weeks, shoulder injury, more to come. This guy jumped up. What do you know? You're not a doctor, you idiot.
Yes. Constantly, dude. Like, and I'm sure like you guys see it too. Like, it's so funny of like you'll say one thing or like make a pick or whatever,
Mhm.
dude. Get blasted, dog. Like, just
Right.
get blasted constantly. It's funny, man.
Yeah, it's funny because if they did not need to win that third game to make the playoffs, Hurts would have sat out the 3 to 4 weeks.
Yep.
So
well, it was for them to win to get the number one seed.
get the number one
Remember?
seed.
Yeah,
So,
they had to win to
that's
get
the
the number
only
one
reason
seed.
why he played. So
think about this real quick, and I mean to interrupt you. Like,
Oh,
you
no.
talk about number one seeds. Like, all right, so Patrick Mahomes, in his career now, he's played 12 playoff games. All right,
All
10 of them
at
Arrowhead. The other two Super Bowls.
Super
Like,
Bowls.
this dude
That's
don't mess
crazy.
around. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the last time you've had two number one seeds since the Eagles made it last time whenever they played the Patriots.
Oh,
okay.
damn, that's a good point. Even think about that. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
so
we normally do. Yeah, we don't
You,
ever get
you hardly ever have both number
That's a
one
great
seeds in it. So that just lets you know that you have really the two best teams all year in both conferences actually made it to the Super Bowl, which hardly ever happens. But this year we got that, and that's why it's so hard to figure out who's gonna win. Because normally you go into the game like, all right, this team has a chance, but they're probably gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this has been the most evenly matched Super Bowl we've had probably since the Eagles Patriots won, or
probably
in a long time at least.
Yeah, probably so. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was kind of pulling for the Bengals. Like I wanted Burrow versus Hurts. Like,
That
dude,
would have been good.
if this man could have had 2 plays with an offensive line, anybody just make one block for the kid, like dude, that would have been like. I'm not complaining. The Chiefs Eagles is gonna be a great Super Bowl. Like, who could complain about the Chiefs?
Right.
Dude, man. Like, I was
That would have been a great
I was ready to
matchup.
see the kid get back at it. Yeah.
That was a great match. And that's the thing, to your point, if he could have somebody just give him a block, he might already have a Super Bowl.
Dog, for
Because
real.
last year,
Like,
if somebody could just block Aaron Donald for a half a second,
half a
he
second.
probably,
Like, he's like, dude, that's all I'm asking, dude. Just give me half a second, man. Oh, running back. Anybody.
Yeah,
Can somebody
something,
just
yeah.
block? Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Our good man Andrew Martin says he wants the Chiefs to win because he wants Alabama fans to feel the pain.
Hey,
Well, if
don't
you
play
think
for
about
me,
it,
dog. Yeah.
hey, that's
Well,
always a good point there, bro.
the problem about that, Andrew, is Jalen Hurts is a Oklahoma man, so you don't have to worry about
Well,
that. I mean, technically they got
Alabama
Devontae.
fans.
Yeah, I know they got
Dude,
Devontae.
hey, Alabama fans were quick to start claiming them now. Aren't
Oh
they?
yeah.
Yeah,
They wanted Joe Burrow to win and the Bengals to win, so it could be a 2019 Alabama rematch. I'm like, y'all do know in 2019 he was in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Y'all do realize
And that didn't go so
right?
well. That definitely didn't go so well.
That's hilarious.
AB, I've got a nugget for you.
Shoot.
Quez Watkins.
Yep.
He has been an Eagle his entire football career. Well, I don't know about Little League, but from high school on up,
Really?
because he's from he actually played at the same high school that Phillip Rivers played, Athens High School, which is where I currently live.
Yeah.
Athens Eagles, Southern Miss Golden Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles.
Damn. I didn't know that, dude. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's wild, dude. Yeah. Like, my man, like, he ain't had to change, like, gear. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just
right.
Eagles. Yeah.
Just change colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Hey, I got a
so I'm
question
actually pulling
both
for
of
him.
y'all.
Yeah.
So this is the first year since what Jalen Hurts was in high school that he's had the same offensive coordinator, head coach, for following seasons.
Yeah.
Is that how much do you think that factors into him being in the Super Bowl and being the MVP candidate versus just getting, AJ Brown and some other weapons they got?
Yeah, dude, it's a great question. I mean, it's obviously a combination, but like even before AJ, right? Like the minute that last season ended, like Jalen was quiet saying, I'm gonna get to work because everybody was saying, look, man, he runs too much, he's not a quarterback, all that stuff, right? This dude went and put in serious work, comes back this year, is in the pocket throwing constantly. Right? Like, I mean, and doing it correctly. Like, I think that having that, like, the OC coach, like all of that, like, I think that helped way more because it gives you, it gave him, comfort back there, familiarity, which, and again, like, we're not downplaying AJ Brown because, I mean, he's a dog, right? But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, and here's the other thing. I'll tell you this in 1 second. But yeah, I think to answer your question, having that familiarity absolutely help because I mean, think about it. Like at any level, right? Like you be at LSU, man. You come in like you're a starter as a freshman, dude. That's big. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. And then you come back as a sophomore, you're like, oh, okay, like I got noise now. Like I get it. You know what I mean? But the first season, like it could be rough. You ain't used to it.
Yeah.
Now here's the other thing. Here's why the Eagles were so smart getting AJ Brown because what he does, and he did this. For anybody to know, I'm here in Tennessee. I live in Nashville. Like. When AJ comes to your team, he immediately makes your number one. Like now you have 2 number ones, right? So you immediately cause a mismatch in the defense. Look at Devontae. Like Devontae Smith has been balling because you just don't have enough dudes to cover. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what AJ did here at Tennessee. I mean, the Titans offense stopped when AJ Brown was stopped. And I was telling people forever because the team's built around Derrick Henry, and I was like, look, man. We all love Derrick Henry. Don't get me wrong. Who wouldn't? I was like, trade Derrick Henry before you trade AJ. Like AJ's the one that opens this up.
And he's one of those unique receivers to where he can be a deep threat playmaker, but he could also be an across the middle, possession type receiver. And to me, that's what helps Hurt so much, isn't because Devontae is the deep ball playmaker too. Quez Watkins, who mentioned is a deep ball playmaker, but now they have that guy who can on 3rd and 6 get you an 8-yard across the middle first down and make it to where Hurts can make those type of throws that help him with his confidence, knowing that I could throw that one-on-one contested ball and my guy can go get that catch.
100%. And AJ Brown, I mean, his hands, like, dude, they're concrete. Like, this dude he'll like, we all use the cliche, but he'll go in the air and take the ball like away. You know
he's
what I mean?
a real
Like
physical receiver.
Yeah, like Justin Jefferson has that. Odell has that. You know what I mean? Like dudes that could go up and say, look, I'm just taking the ball, but we're catching it. And I see Xavier in the chat here said Hurts changed his throwing motion this summer. He worked with someone 100%. That's exactly what he did. And, he got to work. And think about how hard that is. Like, you don't have a lot of time in the offseason. And I only know two dudes, like, of this, like, time period who actually got better with accuracy in the NFL, because that never happens. Like him and Josh Allen, right?
Yep.
Like they took big steps. Now they're two completely different players, two completely different teams, two different offenses. But like you can tell when somebody put in the work, like when they start getting way more accurate, dude. He worked his ass off for real. Like shout out to him. Yeah.
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
He never won one in Philly, but he was, for a while, he was a staple in the NFC Championship game, and then finally made it to the championship with a not what we now know as an intoxicated Donovan McNabb and a broken TO.
Yeah.
So
man.
Yeah.
And shout out to T.O. though, man. That man was out there with a broke leg, bro.
Yeah,
that's broken so leg, and this dude played.
He was sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber so he could come back, man. Like, shout out, man. Cool. There's not too many with that type of dedication.
No, like, dude, it's unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, I mean, even saying it out loud sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this dude played a whole game. Like, he's nuts. That dude, he's on a different level. He still is. He looks like he can play right now.
Yeah, like, from Alexander City. Yeah, Alexander City, Alabama, which is small town.
Andy Reid, I interrupted you.
No, Andy Reid. Is he already kind of? I guess is his legacy already cemented, or do we need more rings to consider him up there with? I guess you could say the Belichick's.
I mean, Belichick's going to be tough because he's just got so many. It's kind of the same thing with Brady. Like if you're just counting stats, like with Mahomes. Like Mahomes has started out quick. It's like, dude, Brady had 3 rings in his first 4 years. Like, and played 21 years too. Like it's just almost impossible to start that quick and have those many years. But like I think Andy Reid, like I think his OG status is set. Like I don't think that there's anything that he further has to do. It'll add to it for sure. But like I think collectively, like all of us, like just football people, like it's not going to change anything for Andy. Like he's good. Like I think he's solid. Yeah. Now with Mahomes, the same thing. Like he's pretty much like solidified as well. But now it's just about like, are you going to be the best ever? Which is rarefied air. You know what I mean? But it's like compared to everyone else, like both of them are like they're gold. You know what I mean?
So Tennessee Titans originally were Houston Oilers.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Originally Houston Oilers. We had this argument a while ago. I think it was around the time, I forget, beginning of the NFL season. We're talking about the greatest black quarterbacks to ever play. And someone said Patrick Mahomes is already the greatest black quarterback to ever play. I screamed blasphemy. I yelled Warren Moon.
Yeah,
like it's tough. Like it's tough.
If he wins another one though, Pooh.
I get. Listen, I understand that, but we just had this conversation last
it's longevity.
Week
it's the longevity.
Not just that, but you can't. Rings can't. I don't think you should. You can't factor rings into the GOATs situation. I mean, the GOAT conversation because it's a.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. But at the same time, Mahomes is doing things we haven't seen other quarterbacks do. Like how many 5,000 yard seasons has he had? Does he have? You know what I mean? Like,
but again, as I say, look at the time period that Warren Moon played in and the numbers he put up.
That's fair, but you can't criticize Mahomes for the time. Oh,
I'm not saying that.
Even in the time period Mahomes plays in, nobody's done what he's done.
Did you guys have like a top 3, top 5? Like who are some of the other people like mentioned?
I think
Steve McNair was in there. Randall Cunningham was in there.
Yeah, Randall. Yeah, McNair. Yeah. Like you're right though. Like Mahomes, and Warren Moon are a different level. I mean, Randall Cunningham put up some monster numbers too, right? Like Steve is that dude. We all love Steve. Like I don't know how his numbers compare to all that. Like Warren and Patrick are like they're tough, and Patrick's got years in front of him. Like when he's done, he's probably gonna be that like because his numbers like you're just not gonna be able to argue against it,
and that's what we're saying right now.
Right now it's Warren Moon.
Right, that was kind of the argument, and then they were like, "No, Patrick Mahomes is already there." I'm like, "No, can't go there."
Now I'll say this. All right, so Conway in the chat says conversation gets a little spicy if Mahomes, and not to just take over and start like reading it's a good point. What if Mahomes loses, right? And like that's where it gets weird because it's like you go to all these Super Bowls, right? But you losing them. You know what I mean? Like you end up with one ring. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. So I don't know the answer to it. Yeah, I throw it to you, but like I thought that was an excellent point. Yeah,
that's a great point. But because like the first Super Bowl that you lost, you kind of get the excuse. You had multiple injured offensive linemen. You were running for your life back there and all that. At this point, you don't necessarily get that same benefit of the doubt. Because Brett Veach should have fixed that by now. You get what I'm saying? And so if you lose again because you can't block Hassan Reddick and that historically great Eagles pass rush, then it's gonna people are gonna point the finger at Mahomes and not necessarily what's around him and the lack of offensive line. And so I kind of think he will kind of be looked at as the way Elway was looked at until he finally was able to win his first one. Except it'll be Mahomes got one, and then he was never able to do it again.
Yeah. See, that you bring up another great point too. Like people who are on the backside of it, right? Like Elway went to a bunch of them and just L, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, you remember this? Peyton Manning was labeled a loser for a long time. Of like, dude, hey, this guy's good, but he ain't gonna win nothing important.
Greatest regular season quarterback of all time.
Steve Young had to get the monkey taken off his back. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of his is kind of reversed though because he did it early. It's like the reverse Dan Marino. Dan Marino went, they never went back. And Mahomes like he won it, but he never was able to come back and win another one. So it's tricky because it's one of those kind of with like LeBron. Do you give him credit for always making it there, or is it one of those things where like making it there isn't enough? You got to win once you get there.
Yeah.
Hey, Edo, I see your question about Carr. We are going to touch on that. Just hold tight with us. But as we know, neither Carr or the Saints are in the Super Bowl right now.
That ain't neither one. They might be white. They might have tickets, but that's about
it. Hey, B, let me ask you this. Prop bets.
Yep.
Super Bowl brings out the wildest prop bets. Whether it's Gatorade color, a color of the Gatorade, that's dumped on the winning coach, heads or tail.
How long the national anthem was going to be?
Which it was over last year, and
it's always over.
Yeah, I didn't.
No.
Yeah. But best. Well, what is your best prop bet that you've seen? It's not necessarily that you bet, but just like the wildest prop bet you've seen.
So I'll tell you what, I mean, so like wild, like, I mean, offshore books have like, is Rihanna going to show a nip or something? You know what I mean? Like crazy stuff on there, right? So like you can get down like as much as you want to. So you've got those, but then you've also got ones that are like actual like in-game bets. And I'll give you one because I already bet it, all right? So I'll ask the trivia question to you too. Over the last 11 Super Bowls, how many opening kickoffs do you think were touchbacks?
Everyone.
11.
I'm a guess.
You said 11. What do you got? 11?
Yeah, I said 11.
3.
Oh,
wow.
So you could bet right now, is the opening kickoff going to be a touchback or not?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So only 3 of them, right? Because one, and I was listening to like Pat McAfee was breaking this down too. He was like, look, man, you're using a ball that is hard as hell, right? Like it's right out of the bag. It's hard, nothing, right? Number 2, if you're the returner, like This is the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl. I might not ever be back. I don't care if it's 109. It's coming
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So it's like, so those, man, I bet that, no, if it's going to be a touchback, because, I want to see if Dude brings it out. So that's one to like pay attention to. They
That's
got
a good
other
one.
ones too of like first drives. You know what I mean? Oh, here's another one. I'll ask you this. So the first punt in the game,
Mhm.
fair catch or no?
No, for the same reason you just said.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And both of these teams will run it too, right? Like they both will run off
Yeah.
kickoffs back, right? And they'll both take punts. So it especially, you look at the Super Bowl of generally the first 6 minutes of the game, there's really not much scoring. Like there's
Yeah.
really not much. So you're going to get a punt probably pretty early, and you might even get a 3 and out. So playing that prop is saying, all right, so let's just say the Eagles get the ball first, 3 and out. They get 3 yards total, right? Well,
Mhm.
you're going to punt it, and you've got
Good fit
tons,
position.
yeah, you got tons of space on the field. Probably going to run that punt back. So you're basically playing like, do they get to around the 50 or not? Because if you get to the 50, there's a chance that, you're backed up at the 10, at the 5,
Yeah.
you're just going to let it go,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things. So, yeah, like some of those, to answer the question, like I like the ones that are in game where it's a little bit of football too, to where it's not just like taking a guess. Like I have no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Andrew Martin says,
No.
Twitter, Twitter would legitimately die if that happened about the Rihanna bet. So,
You ain't
Oh,
lying.
my
You
God.
ain't
Yeah.
lying.
Like, dude, it'd be gone. Like, it would just be gone. It'd be hilarious.
yeah. Now realistic bets. I know you always do for those of you who don't watch the early edge, you're losing. But you always do a no fly zone, meaning quarterbacks throwing the interceptions and stuff.
Mhm.
How do you feel about the no fly zone this game?
Yeah, I feel good, man, because, generally, not that you have quarterbacks that are nervous. I mean, especially Mahomes, he's been there, right? Like, I don't think that they're going to be, Jalen might be a little bit like, when you're the first time there, I don't care who
Yeah.
you are. Like, it's the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? But you look at the last 4 years, there have been multiple interceptions in all 4 of the Super Bowls, right? So, yeah, like, I think the way to play it is you play both because you're going to get one. Like, one of them's
just
going to
hedge
throw a
a bit.
big. Yeah, and you might get 2 because if you have a team that is, like down 7, 10, 13 points, 14, whatever in the second half, well, run game's gone. Like you throwing
Yeah.
now. So, yeah, like this is a good game to play that for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, okay, let me throw it back to you. All right? You guys answer this one. So, I bet I'm big on excuse me, I'm big on team totals, all right? I like playing how these teams are going to score. And I especially like playing halves. So the Eagles, all right, 19 games this year. In 16 of those, in the first half, they scored 14 points or more. All right. So their first half number is set at 12 and a half, over or under. Okay. Now, I'll throw the other one. The Chiefs, a second half team. Not that they start slow, but they accumulate in the second half. Their second half team total is 12 and a half. So when you're looking at that, 2 touchdowns, and you could afford a missed extra point or touchdown, 2 field goals, which the Eagles don't really kick them. Like they go for a lot of force, but the Chiefs do. You know what I mean? So it's like, how would you play either of those? Like, what do you guys think about those? Like, do you think the Eagles continue to start quick, or does it flip? You know what I mean? Like, I'm fascinated to see that. But yeah, would love you guys' thoughts of just first half, second half, how you think this game's going to go.
I'm definitely feeling, and this is a little bit of bias because I do want Philly to win. I'm definitely feeling the Eagles first half. I'm a little iffy on Chiefs second half. And the only reason why I say that, Chiefs they're not terrible, but I've seen them, especially against like Cincinnati, they'll get up big in the first half. And then, and it's happened a few, and the second half is just like, what are you doing? I mean, they'll score points, but it's just.
No, I agree. They get in lulls, man. They do it.
Chargers, because it makes me think Chargers. What was another game they did it? Raiders. I think the first game with the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. I know Cincinnati.
They did it with the Titans, and the Titans didn't even have a quarterback. Like
Broncos.
Yeah.
The game that Russ got hurt. Got the concussion. That was another game. They came back and it was like 35-34, something crazy like that. But yeah.
See, I'm gonna go the exact opposite.
Yep.
I'm feeling the Chiefs second half because I think it's gonna take Pat Mahomes a minute to get that adrenaline and stuff going on that angle. I think he's gonna like we kind of saw that last game. I mean, he was kind of quick pass game at first, and I mean it was working, but it was a second later in the game he really became himself and kind of started moving a little bit better and kind of being the Pat Mahomes we know. And plus, I think if the Eagles are able to run the ball and keep the ball away from Mahomes like they want to do, then in the second half the Chiefs offense won't have any choice but to try to score more and kind of be more of that hurry up kind of offense. And I
Yep.
think if the game plays like I think it will, Eagles go up early, Chiefs have to come back from behind, then they'll have to do a lot of scoring in the second half.
That makes
I
sense.
see that.
And you know what? Not to interrupt, like you bring up an excellent point too. Like the Chiefs, they're not a big play offense like what they used to be. With Tyreek was there, right? Not that they can't, but this
It's
Chiefs
more
team,
methodical.
100%. Like they'll chew up 9 minutes quick on you and punch in a touchdown. You know what I mean? And the Eagles could do that too because they'll definitely run the ball. Now the Eagles can also hit you big quick, but yeah, like that's also what's fascinating with not only betting the game but betting props too, is that if both of these teams like are keeping away from the other offense,
Yeah.
dude, you might only see like 7 drives. Like, you know what I mean? Like it could be a lot of just driving down the field. So yeah, like this game could go in so many different directions. Like it could be 62-61 or it could be 2017. Like they're both good enough to do either. You know what I mean?
I got a feeling it's gonna be lower scoring though.
Yep.
I still don't think it's gonna be like 14-17 or like that Rams Patriots game 13-3 or anything like that. But I don't think we're gonna see a shootout type game.
Yeah.
These defenses are too good, man.
Oh yeah, and especially Philly. And the Chiefs too. I'm not knocking
The
them
Chiefs,
either, right?
the Chiefs pass rush, I think, is the X factor in the game. Can
Yep.
they contain Hurts and keep him in the pocket and make him beat them from the pocket?
Yep. So 100% that, and couple with that, can you rush up the middle? Like you start doing that, like Jalen get in trouble quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which any quarterback.
Chris
would.
Jones gonna have to be big.
Yeah, big for sure, big. Now, okay, so let me ask you this. So I placed a bet because I agree with you. Like we're looking at a game where like the total is basically 51. All right. So I don't think that it's gonna be like an overtime game. Like I think it's gonna be lower scoring. But I bet it like I don't know plus 120 or something. Both teams score 20 plus points. Like that's how I'm playing the over. It could be 21-20, but like I think both get to 20. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, what do you think the final score, like legit, like is gonna be? Whoever wins.
I'm trying to think about the last
20, 24, 20.
I agree.
Like
I think it. I completely agree. Yeah,
I was just trying to think of the last few Super Bowls. Last year was what 23-21 or something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, the year before it wasn't. But the year before that, it was a 27, 20 something.
Like the real last high scoring game from both sides was the Eagles Patriots game.
That's true. That is true. So
that's the. I mean, like whenever Mahomes lost, it was 33-10 or something. Something.
Yeah.
But they didn't score a lot of points. Bucks did, but they really didn't. So like the last time both teams really put a whole bunch of points up was
that
the
was
last
the only
time
one that went OT, right? I think it's the only Super Bowl that went overtime.
No, that was the
the Falcons.
Patriots
Falcons.
Oh, sorry, sorry, yeah. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
Which we like to talk about all the time. 28-3. 28-3
Second best Super Bowl ever.
Yeah, I bet.
Trying to think of another.
Hey, I'll tell you a topic real quick. If anybody out there likes college baseball, I don't know if you're paying attention to LSU, but LSU might have the coldest college baseball team that we've seen in a long, long time. And let me say, I'm a Tennessee dude. Our baseball team was cold as hell last year. LSU put in serious work in the transfer portal, in the recruiting. I'm telling you, like they're gonna start the season like ranked number 1 or number 2. Like they're gonna be unbelievable this year.
So you're saying put some money down on the future for LSU?
100%, dude. LSU is gonna be like they've got everything: pitching, hitting, fielding. Like you're not gonna mess around with LSU. Like they're gonna tune so many people up. Yeah.
AB, let me ask you this question. I'm gonna ask you this, then I want to come back to baseball because I do have a question about that. Edo says first TD Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
When you're looking, because I know you guys do the gym.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, they typically it's kind of a contest on the show. It has to be plus 1,000 or more.
Yeah.
And trust me, it has hit a few times,
Yeah.
several times actually. And you guys pick what are some things you look at for when you're trying to pick a first touchdown player?
Yeah. So you want to look at teams that generally score quickly, like on average throughout the year. Because look, man, like, once you get to the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl, you are who you are, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't start changing things up. Now you might have to adapt because the other teams put you, in a hole, right later in the game. But for the most part, you are who you are. So the Eagles, like they have the most rushing touchdowns in the NFL this year. I think the Chiefs have the most passing touchdowns in the NFL this year, right? So you take a look at these teams. Yeah, like if you're thinking that that the Eagles are going to go down, score, Miles Sanders is a good bet. You know what I mean? Like the hard part is that both of these teams have so many different options that they could go to. You know what I mean? Both run and pass. Like
Yep.
that's the hard part because even like betting props, like both teams have 3 different running backs that one of them could go off at any time, right? So like we say Miles Sanders, dude, Kenneth Gainwell could have a game.
Austin Scott 3 touchdowns.
100%. Like you just don't ever know. But I would say this: like if you're betting first touchdown, like don't overthink it. Go with your dudes, right? Miles Sanders, great bet. Jalen Hurts, like honestly, not really. Like go with Miles Sanders. They run the football down there. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the Chiefs, same deal. I mean, Kelsey obviously is always the play, but like Patrick Mahomes doesn't run in a lot of touchdowns. Like they'll hand it off. They'll get wild as hell in the red zone, but it's not Mahomes running it in. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I would say don't overthink it on things like that. Like, you like Miles Sanders because he does it, stick with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now back to baseball.
Yeah.
College baseball, I rarely see where, some books have where you can, place bets on college baseball, except for, I think, was it last year when the strike or the MLB started late? So they started doing it then. Is there a reason why they don't have a lot of books that just don't have college baseball on their book?
Yeah, because they just don't have a lot of people who watch it, like who pay attention. So they can't, like, honestly, it's because they can't get leverage on it, right?
Yeah.
The NFL, if you walked into Caesars right now, right, and I'm talking about in the back, all right, you've got a room of, let's say, 100 people who are using the algorithms that they have, right? Those 100 people, we'll just use that as a number, 95 of them are going to be NFL because it's the most bet sport, it's the most money. They could lose their ass. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be on point. And also, most people, like, rock with the NFL. But as you start going down these sports, women's basketball, women's college, like WNBA and college, like, yeah, they don't have it. So, like, if you're in tune with it, like LSU, right? Like a perfect team, like you can hit them up. Like you could burn them because they just don't know it. So that's why, like, they won't put too many out. And when they do put them out, it'll be top teams. It'll be LSU, Vanderbilt, Stanford. It'll be teams like that. Like, you're not Southern Miss. They're a co-baseball team, right? Like, they're not going to put teams that really nobody pays attention to except locally because they won't know. But those people will 100% know because they're like, dude, I watch
they kill
4 times a week.
Yeah. Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me. You got one more, Pooh?
No. I knew you. I think I know where you're going. So
yeah, I got. All right, so we're gonna switch gears a little bit, but it's almost here. The greatest sports time of the year, March Madness.
Yeah.
So, how do you approach March Madness when you're looking at filling out a bracket or betting to see, who you think is gonna win the tournament?
Yeah. All right. So, first off, in terms of winning the tournament, like, you want to look at teams who go through tough conferences, who are tested, like, look, Cinderella, small, like those teams never win. Like, they're always blue blood teams, always. Because generally, you see a Kansas and North Carolina last year, they get to it. Like, dude, they've been tested all year. So when they get to the tournament and you're playing back-to-backs, or every other day, whatever, you're like, these dudes are used to it, right? You know what I mean? Like, they're used to going on the road. It's business trip, like. So you look at that, and now, like, if you're going to play futures, play them now. Like, take a look at the odds because you're going to have, a Kansas. And I'm not saying pick Kansas. I'm just saying like, they're going to be plus 1,200. When you get to the tournament, it's going to be plus 150. So you're going to lose 10 times the value when really not much is going to change between now and
That's a good
conference
point.
tournament. Yeah, you know what I mean? So you pay attention to that, and you could bet multiple teams. Like if you've got Arizona, Purdue, Alabama, whatever, right? Like you're going to get them all plus 500 or more. You could bet 3 of them the same amount of money, and now you got 3 teams, and you auto profit if just one of them hits, right?
Yeah.
So that's betting that. Now, betting game by game, certainly the matchups, like that's definitely what it's all about. But really what I look at, man, is like same thing with the NFL. Points per possession. Both sides, offensively and defensively, right? Like who are teams that are efficient? Like that's been I'll tell you this right now. Go through Aaron Rodgers' career. All right. The Packers really didn't blow a lot of people out, right? But they just won constantly. And the reason is that they just scored. They put up points on almost every drive. Like they've got 7, 8 drives a game, 5 to 6. It might be field goals, but they're getting points, and those things add up, right? Same thing on the defensive side. You got teams that can legitimately kind of shut you down a little bit, right? Because basketball, I mean, you guys know, like it's all about runs, right? Like it's controlling, especially the NBA, controlling the runs. Yeah, just if you could go on big runs offensively, and you can control, defensively. But it's just teams that just generally have high percentages. And I say both of those to say this. Find the teams. They don't have to be perfect, but find the teams that are pretty good at both. You know what I mean? Like those teams generally are ridiculously tough. In Arizona, right? Like I know they didn't win at all, but last year, like they were basically Gonzaga, but NBA players. And it was just tough. Like you couldn't go in the paint. You had to shoot low percentage shots, right? Like teams like that. So as we go along, pay attention to that because those teams, dude, they're just going to be brutal. Like it's just tough to beat them with that on both sides. I hope that made sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
All right. AB, if you guys are ever looking for a baseball guy, especially a college baseball guy, our good man Julian Romero is that guy. But he's asking about.
Yes, we are.
But he's asking more about basketball here. Does Miami have a chance to at least make it to the Sweet 16?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
My bad, but yeah, I know he was laying that to you, but yeah, they do, man. They're legit. And not to mention that the ACC is down, and so because the ACC is down, they'll get a much more favorable draw in the ACC tournament. So they have a good chance of winning the ACC tournament, and because of that, they should get a good seed in the tournament and to get a good draw. And I mean, I don't see too many teams in the country being better than them. They're probably a top 20, 25 team in the country. So I mean, they definitely have a good chance to make it to the Sweet 16, depending on the draw.
Yeah, I completely agree. And they could get down however you want to. Like if you want to have a high scoring game, cool, we'll do it. Like we'll pick up the pace. Or if you want to have a rock fight, you know what I mean? They're like, dude, we can do that too. Like Miami, you're right. Miami's a good basketball team. Like look at the quality games that they've had. Like all season long.
UNC
like they might not have won all of them, but like when they play a good team, they always show up.
You know,
always. Yeah.
They remind me of the Leonard Hamilton Florida State teams of 3 or 4 years ago.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The ones that you didn't really know who they had on their squad, but they just had a squad full of dudes who just go out and ball. And they can win a street fight, they can win a shootout, they can win any type of way you want to do it. But they got a good squad down there, and they got a good coach too.
I was just about to say, and they're well coached too. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
AB, I got one more for you. Ant may have one, but I got one more for you. So last night, LeBron, and we'll talk about this later on, but LeBron became the all-time scoring leader. Yeah. All season though, NBA has overs just hidden left and right. Yep. It's now the time that we start, I guess, seeing bet the over. Almost is there a number that you see and you say, oh, automatically betting over?
It's tough because look, man, like the last 2 weeks have seen a ton of unders coming in, but it's mixed. There's no one answer to that, but what I will say is this, again, obviously matchups that has everything to do with it, but when you have teams that just generally home, road, whatever, can score. Like the 76ers can get down. Now it's been they've slowed down a little bit, and again, the season's going on. We're almost at the All-Star break. Makes sense, but like they have scorers. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest thing to watch is pace of play. All right, find teams that play quickly. Like I'll say this: everyone, like we all get hype over when Luka goes for 50, whatever. The Mavericks are the slowest paced teams offensively in the NBA. Their overs rarely they don't
ISO ball.
Yep, Hunt bingo ISO ball right there. Like teams that do it, the Clippers will chew up clock every drive, like every time, because they'll play some ISO ball on you, right? And they play good defense. Like the Luka will go for 50, but the Mavs never cover and they never hit over.
It'd be 97, 93. Luka went for 50.
Yep. You look at a team like the Bucks, all right? Like Giannis will go for 50, but they're a top 3-4 defensive team. Like it's tough to get buckets on them constantly. You know what I mean? So yeah, like pace of play, teams that play ISO ball a lot, like that's what you pay attention to. Boston, like they could look like they score a ton, but their games are generally, 112-90. You know what I mean? Like I know they're playing Philly tonight, but like, yeah, like points can get choked out quickly with teams like that. So yeah,
Boston's a great defensive team. So they might, like you said, they might score 110, but only give up 85, 90 on the other end.
Yep,
but
100%.
To your point, Pooh, about the overs hitting so much, I think it's, and kind of to AB's point, it's the pace that we're playing in now. They took the D'Antoni a shot every seconds pretty much, and they did that with the spacing of a Steve Kerr's motion offense in Golden State. So it's a 3-pointer pretty much every 7 seconds or less, instead of just a layup every 7 seconds or less. And so you got that much more volume because you're shooting so much, but you're shooting that many more threes. I mean, every NBA game, each team shooting at least 40 threes. You know what I mean? So if you make 40% of those, you know what I mean, look how many points that is. Not to mention the way that they're calling the fouls these days. It's so easy to manipulate that and get to the free throw line. I mean, I know they kind of dialed back the last couple of years, but it's still like you can draw a foul pretty easily these days because the floor is so spaced that it's easy for defenders to get out of position. And once they get out of position, they're left with no choice but to foul.
You can draw a foul.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was going to say this just to your point right there. That's why the Warriors, especially at home, are so good, like in terms of overs and pace of play, because look, they fire a lot of threes. And think about it, like anybody who's played ball, when you have a lot of threes, one, like you said, the volume, and then two, like rebounds are longer, right?
Yep.
Like in defensive players are out of position, and then you've got dudes like Clay, you've got guards that are catching boards and going right back up, right? Like so now you're getting 2 possessions super quick. Yeah, like
not just that, but the long rebound that gets kicked out and 2 defenders run for it, don't get it. Now 1 pass and you got another dude wide open 3-pointer. They just 2 3-pointers in less than 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Like that's basically the game now.
That's basically where all of Draymond's points come from. It's that right there.
Exactly.
Clay he'll just fire it real quick. Yeah.
That's the game these days. And you got so many, not just that, but look how many players shooting threes. You got Lord Marketing 7 feet tall, shooting 36% from 3. I mean, everybody is shooting threes now. And so it's not the whole entire floor is spread. You got 4s and 5s shooting threes, 36-37% clip, and there's nobody left in the paint. So 1 pump fake or 1 blow by, and you're wide open layup, or you're shooting 2 because there's nobody there to protect the rim, so you're getting fouled. I mean, it's just it's cyclical. It's gonna come back around. You know what I mean? It's getting to almost getting back to the point where it's coming back around. But it's just, we saw it like this when Jordan played. Like it's like whenever they kind of did some things with the illegal defense and all that, scoring went through the roof. Jordan started scoring 30 points a game, every year and stuff like that. Then they changed it again in Kobe's era, the slow ball era, the dead ball era. It went to like 90 points a game and stuff like that. Now that it's a different era, it's expanding, ballooning back up again. It'll balance itself back out. It always does. But it's just, to me, it's fun because you get to see the true skill set of these guys whenever you got 6'10", 6'11" guys being able to put it on the floor and shoot threes. Yeah.
I kind of disagree with something. And you said it's easy to get fouls. That's unless
Yeah.
your name is Zion Williams
I mean, yeah,
or LeBron James.
that's just the way the game's come. But I'm saying, like the average player, it's easier to get fouled. The difference is Zion and LeBron, they're so freakish that they like the referees don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yep, it's baked in. Yeah,
Yeah, it's baked
100%.
in. Like you're like if you go up and somebody hits you and you don't get affected, they don't think you got fouled.
It's,
But
it's
you're not gonna get affected the same way because you're bigger.
When in turn somebody just smacked the
Yeah,
hell out of
exactly.
Zion.
Yeah.
He's just so big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so big it don't affect
It's-
them, but it doesn't make it
yeah.
any less.
It
of
had
a
knocked
foul.
everybody else down. Like same thing with Giannis. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
it's
Which
hilarious.
Giannis is way bigger than people think that he is.
Yes.
That dude's huge.
Dude.
Giannis is huge.
He for like his nickname is 100% applicable.
Yeah.
Like him, young Shaq. Like when Shaq came out, you're like, dude,
Yeah.
what is
They're
this?
different.
Like
Different
I don't know
animals.
what to do with this. Yeah, they are, man. They are.
It's funny because people always talk about LeBron and he's drama queen, this, that, and the other, and they say that he literally caught an elbow to the face last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And one year, it was during the playoffs. He hit his head, and people were like, "Oh man, he's acting crazy." He still has the scar because that's when he hit his head. The guy fouled. I forget somebody fouled him. I think they were playing. That's the 3-1 year. He got fouled, and then hit his head on the camera and has that scar. So
Dude,
Yeah,
also
but
say
he,
this.
got,
Yeah.
he did some other. Well, my bad, you can go. But I about
No,
to say
no,
he
I was
did
gonna
some
say
other
real
things
quick,
too,
I'll
that's
let-
acting.
like LeBron, like I could not imagine being the focus of the entire world every minute of every day of your life from
Yeah, that's
16.
crazy.
Like
That's crazy.
people are gonna like hammer on you, of course. We're like, this dude, this, and I get it, like so, whatever. But it's like I couldn't like you live the most opposite normal life on the planet. Like I couldn't imagine it. It would be unbelievable. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
But no, I was just gonna say he's kind of rightfully earned that act to us. But part of that is because, like
didn't
you
get
say, he
calls.
don't get foul calls, so he's got to sell it for him to get
Yeah.
the call.
He's got to create it.
Yeah.
You know what it's like? It's like Nick Saban will spin an entire football game and he's not even watching the game. He's in the ref's ear the whole time because he's like, dude, I've got to get as many penalties as I can. And I'm not saying that just Alabama, like that's just what those big time like coaches, they have to
But-
do it.
but it
Like,
is
it
Alabama.
works. You know what I mean? People may hate it, but
Nick Saban does the same thing. Nick Saban does the same thing whenever he rap all that rap poison. He don't believe half the stuff that
No.
them people say about his team. You know what I mean? But he has to do that. You know what I mean? To get the result that he needs to get out of it.
Yep. That's it. Like that's you might love it, hate it, whatever. It's like, dude, result oriented only. Like I got to go do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, Luka's a crybaby too. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't that guy there, man.
Yeah.
AB, as always, thank you so much. We'll have to bring
Great
you back.
stuff, brother.
I got to think it was something coming up. I was like, oh, AB will be perfect for that. I'll let you know. Tonight, Vandy took out Tennessee.
Dude, last second buzzer
three.
beater.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me say first off, I cannot thank you guys enough for having me back, man. I love coming out and just chopping it up all the time. Your chat, dude, chat was firing out stuff. That was, I mean, perfect, spot on. So thank you for having back with that. Can't wait to do it again. And yeah, dude, this Tennessee team is leaking oil, son. Like their defense is good, but that offense is killing them. Like they're about to get into some trouble. Like if they can't score. If
They don't
Vandy,
have
look at
enough
Stackhouse, dude. That was a big win for Jerry Stackhouse.
He needed
did.
that win. He needed
Yeah,
that
he
win. But Tennessee don't have enough shooting, man. That's
Nope.
To me, that's their problem. They got some good guard play, but their guards are all downhill attack, get to the rim guys, and they don't have anybody that can space the floor.
100%. And Rick Barnes, like, I mean, we seen it. Great coach, a lot of wins.
Can he win the big game though?
No, he ain't got no. Dude, that trophy case is empty. Like there ain't nothing. Man, I appreciate it. Guys.
Appreciate
Thanks
you,
for
brother.
having me.
Appreciate it.
Again, oh, excuse me. Everybody, that was our good man, AB.
Good stuff.
Thank you. All right. All right, let's get back to let's talk this Derek Carr. Because our good man Ed O. He said Carr, cigar, Bourbon Street bars, get him through that door. How you feel about the Derek Carr situation or a possibility?
I'm cool with it. Depending on what we have to give up to, in return to get him. I would be cool with giving up a 3rd round pick. next year's second round pick, considering we just gave up a
Mhm.
third round to get next year's, you know what I mean? So basically it would have been like giving up next year's third.
Yeah, so 2
But
picks, but yeah.
so I'd be cool with that. I think he's an upgrade over Andy Dalton for sure. Um
I got a proposition for you.
I don't know if he's an upgrade over a healthy Jameis. The problem is I haven't seen a healthy Jameis in 2 seasons.
Yeah, true.
So the fact that it will be more available, in my opinion, is an upgrade in that sense. So I'm cool with it. I think he get a bad rap a little bit.
I say we trade Andy Dalton twice.
He ain't on the contract.
Oh, he
He a
done?
free agent. He a free
Oh,
agent.
well, shoot, that's even better. That's even better. But nah, man. I think Derek Carr is a lot better than people say. Ed O actually said that too. When he was in here.
Most fourth quarter comebacks since he's been in the league.
Yeah. Because he talked about the Raiders, what you call it, how they are.
The Raiders are a terrible
Yeah,
quarterback franchise.
yeah, they are. They are. But yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I just hope that I hope the O line is ready for that.
Yeah, he's a lot more mobile than what you had in Andy Dalton
Yeah.
at this point of Andy Dalton's career. I will say this though, to like the people who feel like he's not a great quarterback because he hasn't win and stuff like that. You gotta look at the defenses he's played with. Like on average, their defense has been like 25th in the league in scoring on average for his
Mhm.
career. That's pretty terrible. So you know what I mean? So I feel like that has to play a factor. He'll be coming into a situation with a much better defense than he's used to. So um yeah, I think it'll be a good situation for him, especially consider if you're able to keep all the weapons for him.
Yep, yep. Yeah, Chris said he sure would be a lot better than the two we had last year.
I
And
I
I can
don't know if he
I can
would be.
slightly agree. Slightly.
Yeah, I don't know if he's better than a healthy Jameis. The problem is I haven't seen a healthy Jameis in 2 years, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like this year, I only saw one game of him really healthy, and last year he got what hurt 5, 6 games into the season. So I mean, what is Jameis right now at this point in his career? I don't know. So
What's up, King? Says great guest, man. AB is great, man.
yes, I
If
got
y'all
man.
if y'all ever
Appreciate
get a
y'all for
chance, go
watching.
check out the early edge, man. They always have
Some
some
gems.
some
Now they
gems.
win some money.
They will do that. Speaking of winning, the Pels win again.
Yeah. 3 in a row, man. It looked like BI finally got his confidence back coming off that injury. Um I know we lost a few when he first came back, and he didn't necessarily play every game when he came back. He sat some of the back to backs, but it finally looked like he's got his legs back on him. He's got his confidence in himself. CJ looked like he's back to his old self, and Herb really is the one to me because he really hadn't looked like himself all year, battling with injuries and trying to find his role now. But these past 3 games, it looked like he's kind of settled in, and he's been the Herb that we all thought we was gonna have from him this year. So if Zion won't play before the All Star break, they're gonna be as cautious as they can with their hamstring, which I'm not too terribly upset at because of the way we've been playing these last few games. So we kind of been able to keep it afloat. Right to ship and then keep it afloat with these last 2 games. So we got 3 more games before the All Star break. If they can win 2 out of those next 3 and go into the All Star break with some good momentum, we'll be good.
Okay. Cam Thomas, former LSU Tiger. Now,
Kyrie, who?
yeah, basically, and I think that's one reason why the Nets were okay with letting Kyrie go or trading him. Cam Thomas has been a walking. We knew he was a walking bucket, but he has dropped 40 straight, 40 plus in the last 3 games. He has in the last 3 games a total of 134 points.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous, bro.
I mean, any way
And
he can scoring, he can do it.
that's what if Durant decides to stay, I
Mhm.
still feel like they got a solid 1-2 punch with Cam and Durant. Um, a more a more Golden State type of offense because Cam is more of a shooting type than a creating play. I mean, he can create off the dribble as well. Don't get me wrong, but he's a better spot up shooter than Durant's played with in a while. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting dynamic. If Durant stays, if Durant doesn't stay, they still got a building block to build around because obviously the man can fill it up. So
LSU last scored with
I'm not
3
watching
minutes, 3 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first half. It is 18-19 in the second half, and they have still not scored.
that. What's the score?
28-22.
Who they playing?
Mississippi State.
Oh, that's
They literally were up 22-18. And Mississippi State, it's not like they on the run.
yeah.
They just,
I mean, they are, but they ain't.
yeah, it's like LSU not scoring. They finally at the line. So
LSU just on a drought.
oh,
Mississippi
and he
State
missed the
ain't
free
on
throw.
a run.
Oh, okay. Let me. All right,
Keep going because we ain't finna.
all right. So you gave this man his kudos. You know
I
what I'm saying
did.
in the altar call.
I
We
did.
talked yesterday before the game, and you was like, I don't know if he's gonna do it. I said, I think this is gonna be the game. You said, I think he'll get it Thursday. And I was
Yeah,
like,
then. So I realized something. I did say Thursday because it was against Kareem's former team, the
right,
Bucks.
right.
But I thought about it after we talked, and you was like, man, the way he came, I thought about it. You had all them fans spending what thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for that game last night. I think that played a factor and part of the reason why he did it.
That man came in on a mission. He went back to the headband days,
The
but
head, yeah. When I saw the headband, I knew it was a wrap.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying, I did put the, you know what I'm saying, did the graphic all-time scoring leader. Man, listen, love him, hate him. A lot of people find reason to not like LeBron. You gotta respect him though.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
respect him, man. It's
I say this. Incredible, incredible achievement. You know what I mean? I don't see how anyone can knock it. The only thing I was disappointed in was that they lost the game.
oh my god.
That's
Oh
the
my
only
god.
thing. Like you gotta win that game, dog. And that ain't just to LeBron. Street clothes did not. He had the cheapest front row seat to LeBron breaking the record out of anybody last night. Cause that man did
That's
not
true.
do anything but watch. Like
I,
I will say that Westbrook get a lot of hell, and I know he gone.
boy,
I
you
know he
read my
gone,
mind.
but he had some terrible, terrible, terrible mistakes last night. Missed layups. I know he made like 4 threes, but he missed like 4 layups. So all that cancel out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just rough. And then LeBron gave everything he had in 3 quarters to break the record and put them in position to win the game. And AD and everybody else just kind of let him down. And I mean, I know he only scored 2 points in fourth quarter, and you would want more from LeBron, but that's where
He
you get
also
you
hurt.
need
So yeah,
that's where you want
hurt his foot.
Anthony Davis to take more than one shot in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's why I
I don't,
think the trade, you know what I'm saying, we talked about previous, before the show, the Lakers got a trade, and
it's a
I,
good trade for them, in my opinion.
for a good trade. The Lakers picked up D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. They shipped out Russell Westbrook, one Toscano Anderson, and Damian Jones, and
That's
a
that
first
pick,
round pick
yeah,
in
2027.
2027. Yeah.
Yeah, top 4 protected. And then that goes to Utah and Mike Conley, Nikhil Alexander Walker, and someone else go to Minnesota. I can't think of who the
Nope,
other
it's just
person
it.
was.
It's just them two.
Just them two. Okay, just
Mhm.
them two. So so for Minnesota, I don't know what they were doing. Maybe just trying to get rid of some salary, or something along them lines, or maybe Mike Conley get a point guard who's under contract for longer instead of just losing D'Angelo free agency for nothing. For I know what the Jazz doing. The Jazz just stockpiling assets. So they collected some
Mhm.
picks out of the deal. You know what I mean? Westbrook's contract expires at the end of the season. So they'll have cap space and assets to do whatever they want to do. The Lakers, though, I think they're the real winners of this trade. Not only do you upgrade from Westbrook to D'Lo in a better fit, you get a better shooter, a better spacer, um, a guy who's gonna take care of the ball a little more. But then in Beasley, you get a shot creator who can stretch the floor a little bit, but you got a guy who can create you some offense in situations where LeBron doesn't have to be the only one trying to facilitate. And then Jared Vanderbilt, I know he's gonna be kind of the throw-in guy in this trade, but he a great rebounder, a great second big off the bench. Somebody
Mhm.
Thomas, you got Thomas Bryant. It give you somebody else to go along with him.
Yeah.
To kind of give you some hustle. And bench minutes for a backup big spot. So I really like that trade for the Lakers. And me as a Pelicans fan, like it's hard for me to give Lakers
Yeah.
credit in anything. So that honestly is a
Shout
good
out,
trade
shout
for
out to
them.
Palinko for doing something good for a change. Uh,
Yeah, that's another thing though, because like I really could hate on it because the Pelicans was linked to both Beasley and Vanderbilt from Minnesota. So like y'all kind of stopped us from upgrading in a sense, and that's what King
yeah, I was
S.
just
Cobb
finna bring it
says.
up.
With the trade deadline approaching, what moves should the Pels make? And one other, if you would have asked me this 3 hours ago, you know what I mean, I would have said go get Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt. But now that they out the picture, I mean, there's not. I mean, OG Ananobi's name has been linked to the Pelicans, but you're gonna have to give up some assets for that. I don't know if the Pelicans are there yet. I don't know if the Pelicans need that big of a deal. I would go get somebody like Bogdanovich, either one from Atlanta or from Detroit, either one. But somebody like that, I don't know if they need a big move. I just think they need small tweaks to the roster.
Yeah. I did hear somebody say the other day, um, please stop giving uh kudos or bringing in Raptors Raptors players because they don't pan out anywhere but in Toronto. And I
I can't
started
say
thinking,
that. Norman Powell has been pretty good for the Clippers since they traded him. That's the only person that I could think. Danny Green was okay
but Danny Green had
the-
been in a
but
lot
he
of
was
other
he wasn't.
places.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had been in other places though. But now that I think about it, who like Kyle Lowry, he was old though. So
yeah. Kyle, I
DeRozan was
mean
balling
DeRozan.
though.
Yeah,
DeRozan was balling, so I can't really go that far. But I will say this
Bosh,
though.
Bosh.
But Bosh, like everybody, like Bosh went from number one to a number three option, so of course his numbers are gonna drop. And then he had that heart condition or that lung clot condition, the way we
Mhm.
never really got to see, what he would have been with just him and Wade. But I think that there is something to that because of the
Mhm.
way they scout, but I don't know if that's necessarily true for all the players.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you. Um, all right. Records. We talked about LeBron breaking
Mhm.
what was thought to be an unbreakable record.
Yeah, for a long
Um,
time, 38, 39 years.
yeah. We this by the time LeBron quits, even if he finishes out this year and plays next
It's
year,
gonna be 40,000.
40,000 out. Yeah, I'm like 40, maybe 41.
It's gonna
Um,
be like 41, 42,000 when he all said and done.
will this ever be broken again? I
So I've
mean,
been debating. I've been debating with people back and forth on this. All right, I think it has the possibility to be broken. I'm not saying it will be, but it's possible that it'll be broken just because of what we were just talking about with AB. The
yeah,
pace and the space of today's game is like so easier to like. You have more people scoring 30 points a game right now than you had at any point in NBA history. Like you had like 7 players averaging 30 points earlier this year. That's never been done before. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So because of the amount of players who are scoring that many points, I think it's very possible that one of them, especially if they do away with the one and done rule. If you have a guy come in at 18 like LeBron did and put up 30 points, for 16 seasons, it's possible. I'm not saying it will, but it's possible.
I'm laughing. Chuck said I stayed up watching LeBron break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's
We
record.
all did.
Hey Chuck, this I'm saying what I did. I was laughing. I told somebody I had a family. We had a little family meeting. And I was like, "Hey, we're gonna have to wrap this up. I gotta take a nap so I can stay up and watch watch LeBron break the record." Uh, but yeah, man. Hey, I ain't gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna say it. I'm grown. Judge your mama. I'm getting old. I don't care. Let me ask you this: records. Any sport. Records that won't be broken.
56 game hit streak.
Ooh. I got one. Most wins in college football.
Joe Paterno, Eddie Robinson.
Eddie Robinson. I don't count Joe Paterno's.
Right. Um. I don't know. That one might be. That one might. But you got to coach so long these days.
That's exactly. The thing about it,
but you got to start young and coach long. So somebody like Lincoln could if he coached for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Because he started so young.
I'm gonna tell you the problem. Lincoln's gonna jump to the NFL.
That's another thing. You got the allure of the NFL. That's another thing. That's a good one. Cal Ripken Jr. game. That's a good one. Ain't nobody playing that.
I'll tell you one in the NBA, similar to that. Carr Malone's consecutive games.
Oh yeah,
because everybody gonna load manage.
AC Green, AC Green played for. In the NBA, John Stockton assist record is one that I've always thought would stand for a while. Wilt's 100-point game.
It's been threatened a few times. I think Kobe,
Kobe 81 is the closest, and that's still 20 points away.
He didn't even play the fourth quarter.
The 81, yes, he did. It was a 63-point game when he didn't play the fourth quarter. He scored 63 and 3 quarters against the Mavericks. He played all four and some.
I thought the 81 he sat.
He played all four in 81. But yeah, the 100-point game, I don't know about that one, dog. That's so tough to do. And like Wilt got so many 55 rebounds in the game. Ain't nobody doing that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them rebounds and some of them records Wilt got ain't never gonna be touched.
We're gonna have to go back to segregation and come back for us to have them kind of numbers again.
I mean, yeah, you right. You right. Yeah. Yeah, like some of Wilt's records is gonna be untouchable, man. Like I don't see nobody ever touching some of them records. I'm trying to think of another one that's like I don't know if anybody ever gonna hit for 4,000 again.
Julian says Miami Hurricanes 43 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances, but Florida State is getting close to it.
That's a good one. I don't know if nobody gonna hit for 400 like DiMaggio did. You know what I mean? Not DiMaggio, Ted Williams. That's gonna be a tough one.
I'm starting to, you know what? Because David Irvin says, Wilt
he does. He does.
I'm gonna say this: with some of the numbers I've heard from Wilt
he does need his own record book, man.
I wonder if Wilt could count.
Why do you think Wilt is keeping his own records?
Somebody around him can't count. 1,000.
It's 20,000.
20. Okay, 20,000, bro.
I mean, but that record is one that's one record I would debate with you that you know what I mean. Like he probably didn't do it, but
that's like
the basketball records is
ate some every night for like
the basketball records. You have people who were there. Like, and I will stand on this argument to the day that I die, because people bring this up about the 100-point game all the time. Ain't no white folks about to lie for a black man at that time period and say he did something that ain't never been done before, unless he actually did it. I will stand on that, dog. I will stand on that, dog.
I'm gonna let that go because.
I would stand on that one, bro. They wouldn't have lied for that man.
Andrew Moore said Cubs dropped between titles 108 years. I hope they get another 108 years.
The San Diego Padres going
I hope the Cubs go on a drought for another 300.
Yeah, they might.
No, man.
Chill out, man. Leave them folks alone, man. I know I'm with you, but leave them folks alone, man.
All right. It's that time. You ready? Oh, since we're not coming on Sunday, we're gonna do an altar call tonight. So
drop that heat.
All right,
I'll
who?
go first.
All right,
Show that tweet for me if you don't mind, my bro. So I want to bring. I ain't even gonna bring Sauce up. I'm gonna bring the people he talking about up. All of y'all pro athletes, come to the front. If y'all hadn't seen Sauce Gardner, probably gonna be defensive rookie of the year in the NFL. He said in a tweet, pro athletes, if you really from the trenches, you ain't gotta prove it every time you know eyes on you. A lot of y'all ain't even like that for real, and that's fine. All your life you grind to go pro, make it pro, and start making millions, and then turn gangster. That's backwards. All right, Sauce, you could not be more spot on, my brother. You are 100% right. All these athletes feel like that they got to prove that they about that life. And that's the problem with our culture. We feel like once you make a name for yourself, once you get a little fame, once you get a little bit of money or something along them lines, that you got to prove that you about that life and all these kind of stuff. That's so stupid, man. You making millions of dollars. You got a chance to change your family's lifestyle for generations to come, and you want to sit there and do stupid stuff to put that in jeopardy. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm not talking about one particular person. I'm talking about all of y'all in general. There's a whole bunch of y'all who fall in that category. And I'm a director of an outreach program who deals with young boys who are about that life. I know what young men who are about that life look like. And half of y'all who claim to be about that life ain't that. So stop trying to be something you're not. It's okay to be a ball player. It's okay to be a dude that just goes to the gym, goes to work out, goes to the field, and handles his business, then go back home. You ain't gotta be no street dude. You ain't gotta be a gangster. You ain't gotta be none of that to be cool, man. Stop all that, bro. It ain't worth it. And somebody gonna end up wasting or losing everything that they done had because they want to prove to somebody that they about their life when they really ain't.
yeah. If I'm not mistaken, that's what Shannon Sharp called out John Moran on. So, but let's not. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and break down my altar call for this week. I'm sure we've all seen the young, up and coming, phenomenal reporter Jeremiah 1 and 5. He reports for basically the Raiders, Vegas Raiders. He's done interviews with Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr. I mean, like very touching interviews. If you don't know, it's this young man right here. He was at the Pro Bowl, talking to these guys, talking to the guys there. Um, young Jeremiah is 10, and they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I'll tell you this: a lot of you old dogs have a lot to learn about professionalism and just great character when it comes to reporting on sports media. Jeremiah has found a way to talk to these players without degrading them, without telling them, hey, you haven't done anything all season. Um, you deserve to talk to us. Hey, talk to me or else or any of that stuff. Jeremiah has been so inspiring. His comments, his stories, his interview questions are like spot on. They're phenomenal. They're excellent. And I'll say this: I don't know um, much about him as far as his personal life, but Jeremiah, the way he presents himself, you could tell that he's gonna do big things one day. I hope that I can be half as good as he is when I get older. But the kid is phenomenal. If you get a chance, go check him out, support him, look at his stuff. He I did an altar call months ago talking about encouraging your kids and stuff, and that's exactly what's going on with him. I look forward to seeing him grow and become, better. So, hey, shout out to you. Thanks for being my hero. And looking forward to you, man. So
Yeah, that's dope, man.
that little dude, man, like the interview.
And
Go
not
check him
only
out.
not only
Devontae
that,
Just the other one, yeah.
Yeah, not only does he do a great job interviewing, you know what I mean, but and like know his stuff. He come with numbers and they stats and all that kind of stuff. But he he does a good job of trying to get them to be themselves and not try, you know what I mean, and not try
There
to
you
be
go.
that their cliche answers and all that kind of athlete speak. He gets them to kind of show a side of themselves that some of these other people can't.
Yeah. Shout out King of South Cobb says, great point. Not just pro athletes, wide attain and measure of success and attempt to turn street or return to the
Exactly.
streets. Get the success and move on, elevate.
Bingo,
Completely
bro. Couldn't
agree.
have said it better, man.
Completely agree.
Couldn't have said it better.
Hey, we'll be back tomorrow. We won't be here Sunday. We've said that several times. We'll be here tomorrow with the HBCU hour. Let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and throw this up here. I know y'all have seen it a few times, but we'll be back tomorrow with HBCU Hour. Then we'll be back Monday with another episode of HBCU Hour. Then we'll be back on Wednesday with the Golden Boot. We look to hopefully we'll have a special guest. I'm not gonna say who it is yet, but we're trying to work it out.
Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Go ahead and like, subscribe, so you'll know. Hit that notification bell. You'll know every time we do an episode. And you got anything before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, y'all just go subscribe so y'all get a chance to win $100.
That too. That too. Hey. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!